Well, we might just stay on YouTube a little bit longer. There's, I don't want to just ignore people here, so we'll do it today. We'll make an exception. Okay, Juan Lolito. What do you say to someone who starting now to invest and rather try to play the altcoin game to accumulate more Bitcoin because Bitcoin price is so high already? High compared to what? Like, what's your benchmark there? Is it high in terms of trying to get one Bitcoin? Because to me, a million sats is much more valuable than one Ether, right? So of course, one Bitcoin is more expensive than one ETH. But to me, 1 million sats is way more valuable long-term, short-term, every term than one Ether. And you can get it for less than that. So don't focus too much on the one Bitcoin aspect of things. Just try to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. Because what you're going to do, and I played this game before, I played the altcoin game. What you're going to do is you're going to get all these different altcoins. You're going to have no idea what they do, why you bought them. You watched one video on it and it started to go up a little bit. But you also have to figure out that there's more to it than that, because you're going to have to figure out a way to buy these things. So a couple considerations there, because this is pretty important, honestly. A couple considerations there. The first thing you're going to have to do is, let's say you're going to a Shiba Inu coin, which is a pretty popular coin amongst the crypto community. So you have to find a way to buy that. You go to Binance, you have to KYC yourself. You're part of their system now. You buy some Shiba Inu. Then what do you do with it? I mean, one option is leave it on the exchange. If you plan to flip it into Bitcoin, that's probably your best bet. Because if you've ever tried sending Shiba Inu coins before, first of all, you have to buy Ether, I think. You have to buy Ethereum, or you have to pay a shitload of Shiba Inu to move it. So let's say you want to put in $50 or $100 just as gambling money. First thing that's going to happen is you're going to pay for the spread on Binance. You're going to lose some there. You're going to have to pay that to move that. If you want to move it into your wallet and keep it safe off the exchanges, you're going to have to pay probably 10%. Like, the fees to move these cryptos aren't cheap. And then when you want to sell it, you're going to have to pay another 10% to get it back. So then you're going to need about 30% just to break even there. And you're going to have to go through all this headache of setting up a new wallet, writing down the private keys. There's just so much to it. The other part of that too is that if something happens, whether it's Gary Gensler, the SEC, they decide that all of these securities are now going to, or all these altcoins are deemed as unregistered securities, and they start going after these exchanges to try to, damper the price even further, because that's one of the bullets that they're going to have in their gun, is to go after these exchanges and shut down the trading of these altcoins for a while, which will cause a crash in the market. And so when that happens, all of the liquidity is going to be gone. You're not going to be able to move these altcoins back and forth, because nobody's going to, there's not going to be any platforms for it. So you're going to be stuck holding these coins that really have no value. You can't even trade them anymore, and you might be in shit for holding unregistered securities. So no, I don't think that that's a good idea. I think that if you have any altcoins today, you should be moving it into Bitcoin. And I talked about this earlier in the week, but you have to look at this two ways. The first way is that if you're somebody who's holding on to these altcoins for a while, this is kind of different from the question, but still relevant, and you want to move that into either fiat or Bitcoin, those are two different paths that you're going to take. Because if you're somebody who wants to move it into fiat and pay off some of your debt, let's say you have a line of credit that you accumulated in the last 10 years or whatever, you want to pay off that line of credit, you want that fiat price to go up. So you hold on to it until, it goes from $1 to $10, because it's going to happen. They always follow Bitcoin. So that you want to wait for that. Don't sell your altcoins now if you want to trade them for fiat. But if you want to trade them for Bitcoin, they're going to go up, but so is Bitcoin. So if you wait to trade them for Bitcoin, you might have more of a fiat purchasing power, but you're going to get less Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's going to go up in the same proportion, if not more. So if you're trading your altcoins for fiat, wait. If you're trading your altcoins for Bitcoin, do it today. That's what I'll say on that. Rock and Roll says, the more my Canadian government taxes me harder, the harder I go buying no KYC Bitcoin. Yeah. That is very true. And that's a great point. If you do want to be somebody who's going to be buying Bitcoin, holding it for the long term, then and spending it, then you do probably want to do it non-KYC. Okay, what else do we got here? Hey, there we go. We almost said the exact same thing there. Start to think about it as accumulating Satoshis instead of Bitcoin. Exactly. That's exactly what I was getting at there. Okay, where do we go? Timber Crasher says, I played the altcoin game for a while, and truthfully, it was way too stressful. It is. It's so stressful. You hear a lot of different stories like that of people getting out of altcoins because it's just like, it's not worth the time and energy. That's the thing. Because the last part of that is that you can spend all this time watching videos of the next best altcoin. You can spend all this time watching the charts and wasting your life watching charts to wait for it goes up another 2% and you can sell into Bitcoin. But think about that. Think about all the time and energy that takes. And if you could actually apply that into whatever skills you have in life, grow your business, grow your network, learn more about Bitcoin, I feel like your time and energy is much better utilized in Bitcoin or just living your life as opposed to trying to play the game. Emmett says, what is the best wallet for Bitcoin? It's Sparrow for sure, which is a desktop wallet. So I don't think they have a mobile version of it yet, but Sparrow for sure. And the reason is because you can track it. That has way more features. You can track your UTXOs. You can add labels to things. You can actually send specific UTXOs if you want to do some management there. Grinders up 69 sats. Thank you. It says test though. So are things not working here? Let's see what's going on. Yeah, there was a couple zaps missing here because I see 420 sats here for Arnie Insurance. Okay, well, thank you for whoever sent that. I'll forward that to Arnie's wallet today. Okay, actually, on that note, this is something else I thought about the other day. Okay, let me put that on pause for a sec because the grinder said the way to play the altcoin market is throwing $20 to $50 at a coin and let it ride. You either get that 1000x or you don't, and if you do 1000x on 50, it's plenty. But stacking sats with a 4 to 8 year commitment is the way of the brave. Yeah, and that's the other thing that, if you do want to gamble a bit, I have no issues with that. I gamble on golf sometimes just to make it more interesting. If you want to, as Grinder said here, if you want to put $20 to $50 in, I wouldn't even use a dollar amount, actually. I'd say look at your Bitcoin stack or your crypto stack and don't exceed 2% of it in altcoins. So if you got $1,000, don't exceed $20. If you got $10,000, don't exceed $200. That's how I would look at it, is percentage of it. Keep that 90 to 95% of your Bitcoin forever. Spend some of it if you want to, but don't get wrapped up in the altcoin game there.